fights that the Ruby and Arlot are looking to set up.
On the money today, we are on fire with this draft. NIP Flash feeling really comfortable in their skin, considering that they went for Harry Roger first 2 picks. But Geek Fam, we got the big brain below the B. Final words before we head into the game, Gani.
You know what? I think with this balanced lineup, man, it's anybody's game. I gotta say, very balanced firepower early, mid, towards the late. So, man, Husky and Aries, good luck casting this game. I'ma sign out.
Right, so thank you very much, Gani. This is gonna be a very interesting series, just as the stakes have been kind of shown to us, right? 2-0 is the way to go, but 2-1 is probably the one that's more reachable as we head onto the land of dawn for Game 1 between NIP Flash and Geek Fam.
Yeah, and now we've gone off the desk. NIP. Okay, but by business aside, I think like Gani mentioned earlier, both teams look really balanced, right? They have an identity of how they want to play. Geek Fam looking for these huge team fights, looking to set up the Arlot's final slash, as well as the Armor Fender from the Ruby. But more importantly, juicing in the mid, will we see the aggression that we hope that these teams can show? And on the flip side, NIP Flash, they want to look for control with the Minotaur and Aurora in the mid lane.
Absolutely. I think on top of that also, and something that is established about Jushin is that she needs time, right? She doesn't have burst damage, she needs time. So if you're immobile, life is tough, get used to it. But you do have certain ways of NIP Flash that they dealt with Jushin yesterday. Just be mobile.
Yeah, I think one of the key items that we should highlight is also the Dominance Eyes. You need the Dominance Eyes on both JPL and the EDF, just because there is an Arlot and Ruby. We spoke about the sustain that they always look for. And I think what's really good of Dominance Eyes is not only does it reduce the lifesteal effects that these two heroes can bring.
And Beloy found out by Hades, but again, so far NIP Flash very, very disciplined. JPL has been being fine and dandy with his mirroring since yesterday, and he's doing it, right? Keeping up with Beloy despite being on a Minotaur.
And NIP Flash taking it slow. Yes, they've seen some aggression come up from Geek Fam, but that's also because of Juicing. But look at how tanky this Minotaur is in the early game. I think what Juicing really brings to the table is the vision. There's not really many heroes out there in Mobile Legends Bang Bang at this point in time that can give vision, right? Selena being one of them. Obviously, there's also the Lawyer when she casts a second skill. But more importantly, with Juicing coming up, you can get the vision without putting yourself in too much of a risk.
Yeah. And Adamir is going to try and zone a boy and gobs out of experience. You have Courtesy there as well. Another thing we observed yesterday was if you get the Purify onto the Jushin, it does take away her escape capabilities and make her more vulnerable. But this time, boy, he's forced to go on that Purify, and Adam is going to hit 4 first alongside Courtesy, but Geek Fam, they're going to hit that timing as well. Turtle is up.
Yeah, most of the key heroes now all hitting that level 4 except for Beloyski and JPL. But look at that, NIP, they want to take the fight. Adamir!
Again, the Purify popped by a boy, got to the back, playing distraction, and Hades is going to be fine for now. Courtesy even using that out, but the link shows up. It's Vince's time to shine. Tempest of Blaze into a first blood, and it's Geek Fam off to a great start.
Yeah, a little bit of fortune over Courtesy. They're just casting the Frigid Glacier, but Geek Fam, none of the members were caught. Well, one member was caught, but it wasn't the key heroes. And I think for NIP Flash, they must be feeling a bit sour about that, considering that, you want to get Hades on this snowball on the Roger that he's playing.
And that's where the Purify comes into play, right? A boy saving himself and getting assists in the process. Geek Fam getting turtle number 1. At the same time, Chadera taking out most of Owl's HP pool, forcing JPL to show up, but with Beloyski around, Geek Fam having a lot more solid control topside.
Yeah, Beloyski just protecting Kadera at this point. You want this Moskov to come online as quickly as possible. And inside the NIP Flash, well, you do have a Harif, so both heroes are pretty evenly matched, although they provide different styles in team fights. With the Harif, it's a lot more AoE controlled. With Moskov, it's about just shredding the entirety of that single target in the front line.
While we have a bit of time, I think is good for us to point out that for the second series of Stream A and Stream B, it's all Group A games. And this is where the matrix will be warped, right? Depending on the results on the other streams, it might affect their chances here as well. Adamir getting ganked, a dive coming through. Adamir dashes away with the onwards. Doesn't have the Primal Wrath form, so will be lifted up and assassinated by Vincent.
Now, a little unfortunate there for Adamir, but Geek Fam doing a good job at applying pressure. They are slightly in the lead, so it's only right that they try to make the advantage. scale even more. And yes, it is only slightly under 1,000, but when you have a Link as well as a Moskov, this is what you're looking for, right? A peaceful early game, you have a lead, good. But at the end of the day, it's the late game. It's where the Link can look to push out the side lanes, come in and go for the back line when there's a pick off, and then for the Moskov to join the fight using that spear of misery.
And we have
destruction.
And we are seeing something from Geek Fam. A boy on this Jushin. We talk about, okay, Hades and Ao, they're a bit more mobile, but everyone else on NIP Flash, the core pillars of the team, they don't have that luxury, right? So Jushin has been the facilitator for all these rotations. Shows up, JPL can go forward. Same with Adamir. NIP Flash gonna put in the back foot a little bit. JPL spotted out, lifted up, pulled back, tries to run. Minoan Fury committed, but it's a flicker to get up boy and Beloy out of there. JPL though will be safe for now. Gob shows up, final slash, avoided, spear of destruction, does miss, but JPL still getting chased down. Vincent finds the kill, but at least Hades finds Beloyski. Gob's in a rough pace, but Adamir, good patience with that armors into a freeze hour with the collection.
This is really interesting. Both frontliners over the both Romans going down really early, but Adamir still looking for more.
There's the flip. Curtisi kind of baited a little bit by Adamir. Goes into the passive. Vincent comes out of it. Adamir still has the Primal Wrath form. Tempest of Blades as a response. The freeze does not connect, but Vincent dashes away, and Geek Fam will not get the second turtle.
And in the middle of it all, NIP Flash, perfect rotation coming out to get the Harith to bot lane. I think Kadera's doing really well of pushing out those waves, but Harith has to be careful. Beloyski and Gobs.
Well, Ao actually tries to fight this once the turret first. Cannot get it in time. They protect the structure. Ao though still gets out, but Gobs will not let that happen. A flicker into a kill. NIP Flash kind of fumbling the ball.
Yeah, well, I tried to give Ours a heads up there, right? You're up against an Ourlord and a Ruby. They can displace you from where they are, and I think, Owl found that out really quickly. But NIP Flash here, I think they're doing a good, decent job, but Geek Fam, on the other hand, doing an even better job at getting this aggression. And I think for a boy on this Zusing, what you want is the early game, because we spoke about Zusing, right? Mana or not, is she good? Is she not? A lot of teams have been experimenting with her. I think Zusing is one of those heroes where you want to be ahead. This is where her potential shines. When you're playing from behind, even if you have the lantern, there's not really much you can do.
And they pull on the JPL, Beloy leading the charge. JPL forced to commit the ultimate, and now to back him up, but JPL just could not catch a break.
And they're harassing this Minotaur, and this is great coming up from Beloyski and Gobs.
A boy, ultimate, is in a Frigid Glacier, getting used, but doesn't really matter though. Gobs finding a double kill. Final slash does not connect, but not that it matters. Geek Fam with the first big fight in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think NIP Flash didn't expect this level of aggression coming up from both Beloyski and Gobs. They're constantly hunting anyone they can find. It doesn't really matter if it's the Harith, doesn't matter if it's the Minotaur. As long as they have a clear target they can burst down, they will go for it. And because of that, Geek Fam now find the space they need for both the Link and Moskov to farm. Look at this, right? 7 minutes in, they are already 3.3k gold lead up.
And Gobs just got the War Axe, right? More damage, more fighting capabilities. And I think it's a good time to start talking about NIP Flash. What is the contingency plan? Especially when you have a draft that needs so much farm.
Yeah, this is rough. This is rough for NIP Flash, because like you said, they need a lot of farm to get the items out of both the Idith, the Roger, and on top of it, and Harith. I think there's really only one way to do about it, right? You need JPL to play a little bit more conservative. He's been standing a little bit too far in front. He's been getting caught up by both the Ruby and the Ourlord. Obviously, credit to both Beloyski and Gobs to make that happen. But I think on NIP Flash, you have to take the back foot here. You have to play a little more safe in terms of your positioning, ensure that these pickoffs don't happen.
And Geek Fam starting to walk into the jungle of NIP Flash as well. Orange buff will have to be surrendered, and Hades is going to feel the heat. I mean, the lead that Geek Fam have is starting to spill into the NIP Flash's side. Orange buff taken away. Hades gets nothing.
I don't think Hades wants to be in this position, but we have seen time and time again, when all hope is lost, Hades can pull something out of his bag. We'll see whether that happens, but coming back to this replay, look, once again, a very early Frigid Glacier being put out of the bag from the side of Cortesia, and once that's done, you don't really have much. Yeah, there's the Minion Fairy to follow up, but Geek Fam is so far ahead, they don't really care. There's no damage dealer by their side to finish the fight off.
Even JPL has been using the Minoan Fury as a means to defend himself, right?
That's
He
not a good sign.
doesn't want to get lifted up, doesn't want to get pulled, doesn't want to get swiped to the side. Clock of Destiny and Glowing Wand for a boy, so you're constantly getting burned by the magic damage. Purple buff on the side of NIP Flash on the threat as well. Peloisky missing that ultimate, but it's all to secure the resource for his jungler.
That was greedy. He tried to catch both by Adamir.
It's gonna be jumped on. Primal Wrath gets used. Flicker to safety, but final slash followed up from Gops is just immaculate.
I feel so tired looking at this game. It's like Geek fam is all over the map and just constantly trying to find pickups just when NIP Flash were ready to give up that tier to the bot lane. But because of the link, because of the fact that they have heroes that can just pounce on you just like that or, catch you from behind, it's so tough.
And Big Boy Boy does it again. Monster kill for Vincent. Gops also finds Hades. Absolutely gobsmacked NIP Flash. 4 down, and Adamir just came back. Nothing much he could do. Geek fam going straight for inhibitor number 1, and Adamir is not even safe, needs to dash away. Geek fam looking for potential end angle. Adamir gets swiped to the side, and Geek fam just like that will take NIP Flash down in 10 minutes.
Officially the fastest game we have seen on Stream C so far. I can't say for sure if it's in the entirety of this tournament in Season 5 because the other games are going on, but definitely for sure up to this point in the tournament, it's been the fastest game.
The fastest game, and we've seen a lot of dominant games, but this one, the most dominant one, I suppose. Not even leading a lord.
It never felt like Geek fam were in trouble. They were constantly in front foot, and obviously we spoke tons and tons of praise for Gops and Peloisky. I think this is where the NIP Flash, they were not ready. They were not ready for this aggression. None of the teams that faced so far were constantly pressing that gas pedal to find those ganks.
I mean, we've been talking about the last picks here, right? We've been talking about the value of that last pick. But, yeah, Ling, first pick, that is also the value you can get with that first pick value. Vincent just showing up very, very aggressive, very, very calculative as well on that Ling. So invasive.
Yeah, so invasive, and the tempo, right, which has been the highlight for Game 1. Gops and Peloisky both were just doing a lot of the heavy lifting, right? And again, facilitated by a boy on this Jushin. Life is just too tough for NIP Flash. They had to take a bullet and eventually the L. But what I want to kind of understand a bit more is this a drafting, or is it just Geek fam being able to figure out the early rotation?
I think it's a little bit of both, and I think the focal point here is if you look on the side of NIP Flash draft, they don't really have someone that can pressure the Link in the early game.
No.
And this is what you want as a Link. You want the space to farm, to hit your power spikes, to be able to rotate across the map and create trouble of the side of the opponent. And because NIP Flash become a Minotaur who's slightly more defensive, same goes for Idif as well, a little bit more tanky of a front line, but not ready to take early team fights before everyone hits that level 4. This is where Geek fam had all the time in the world to bring that Link to their power spike.
Yeah, it's more of a reactive aroma, right? Minotaur, you want to react instead of initiating it. And we can see here, NIP Flash kind of lost control on that. They were trying to give pressure, but they don't have the tools to do so. And you can see here, Geek fam, they won the gold lane, they won the jungle as well, and that is just what you need to win a game very, very fast. 11 minutes, was it?
10 minutes.
Under 11, just slightly above 10.
Oh my
It's like 10
God.
minutes, 3 seconds.
Yes.
14-2, and that shows, that's the dominance. 834 GPM, that's Vincent just finding up a crazy stat as well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole game, it's fair to say that for Chadera, he didn't even need to be there, right? He's just,
True.
He's been farming the whole game, the rest of his team just being able to lay enough groundwork for Geek to win.
The towers don't fall on their own. You have to put some respect on that split push.
Of course. He doesn't need to join the team fight necessarily, but again, what do you mean? Everyone for Geek fam doing their job properly. NIP Flash, one game away from being in danger of not making playoffs. Again, all the games happening right now on the other streams are going to affect Group A directly, but Geek fam coming in so strong. It really feels like maybe it's time for NIP Flash to look back at Game 1 and be like, we have to be a bit more proactive.
Yeah, I mean, look at the goal and the XP graph. It seemed like NIP Flash had some sort of advantage in the early game because of the fights that Geek Fam were taking to them. But the moment the link came online, it was a complete flip on the story. It was just Geek Fam, Geek Fam, Geek Fam. It was all about the Ruby and Arlot catching out JPL. JPL had no rest as a Minotaur. He was constantly using those Minoan Fairies to save himself, and even still, he went down.
I think I think also Geek Fam, they were able to free Gobs from his lane against the Edith very early on, right? I mean, Gobs and Boloyski, they could have called them double roamer, then I would not have doubted it for even a second.
Man, again, it just shows how Minotaur and Aura sure up huge AoEs, but not enough isolation, and that is where Ruby and as well as Arlott come into play. But Vincent, man, what a guy.
Yeah, what a guy. Just great performances. I wonder who the MVP for this game is going to be, because overall, I think for Geek Fam, they have done fantastic. And what if I asked the question? It's Vincent. Of course it's Vincent. He got half the kills, or almost half the kills of his team. 86% KP, Thunderbelt as one of his core items in the game.